Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet again to another episode of Dinner Guide. My name is Chef Andy and today we're going to be making something beautiful. We're going to be making some chickpeas, chicken and potato fritters. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce you to what we'll be working with today. So from the front here I have some garlic, some salt, some cubed cucumber and some red curry paste, some dried garlic, some chopped parsley, some cumin powder and some paprika powder mixed together, one piece of gherkin. I've got a nice beautiful raw egg, some cucumber, some mint yogurt there. I've got some parsley here, some regular all-purpose flour, some beautiful chickpeas, some rosemary, a beautiful deboned chicken leg and some raw potatoes at the back here. Without further ado, we're just going to take a short commercial break, give you some time to get your pens and papers ready for going. And when we come back, we're just going to go right into it. See you after the short break. Welcome back ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be now getting straight into our dish of the day. We're going to be working on a beautiful fritter dish, which I'm going to show you how that's done. Right, so we're going to be working with some of that chicken, beautiful deboned leg there. Some salt, I'm gonna grab some pepper, some garlic, some paprika and some cumin. Last but not least, a bit of flour. So we're just going to quickly get our burner going. Let's give that oil some time to heat up. And in the meantime, we're going to just cube our chicken here. So all I'm going to do is take the inside. Remember, we don't want the skin in the fritter. So I'm just going to quickly take the insides out. Right, so it's always nice to use a sharp knife. If you have a filleting knife, it's even better. Right, so what we're basically doing is getting rid of all these fatty, skinny bits that we have on our chicken that will not be incorporated in the dish. Right, so that's gone. And now all we are going to do is slice this really finely. Remember, if you do also have a chance to be able to get some minced chicken from your butcher, it's also allowed. A regular butchery actually should be able to give you minced chicken, but I'm just going to mince this one particularly. And the reason why I'm using the thigh side and not the breast side is because it's a little more cost effective. And for the particular purpose we're using it for, it works a little better than chicken breast. Okay, so just gonna finish mincing that now. And just the last bits there. Remember, if it's also a little chunky, it's very allowed. It doesn't have to be very fine, just as long as it's nicely stripped up completely. Right, beautiful, beautiful cut of chicken there. So now all we're going to do is we're going to be moving that onto a bowl. Right, we're just going to refresh my hands here quickly. And for the board, we're just going to turn that around. Right, so we're just going to go straight with it. So to that, we're going to be adding some chopped parsley. which I'm just going to roughly chop up here. Right, our oil is nicely heating up. So those are going to go in there. Then just a small sprig of rosemary, about half of it, so about half a teaspoon. And then some paprika and some cumin powder, some dried garlic powder, some salt for taste, a bit of black pepper. Alright, so basic ingredients to season your fritters. You can always also find a few other different recipes to do this. You're not restricted to using the ones we're using on the show today. Right, so we're just going to incorporate just one piece of garlic clove in there. So just quick rough chop. Right, and then to that we're going to add some chopped parsley, some chopped coriander. And then last but not least, we're going to grate in some potato. So I'm just using a regular grater for this process. Give that a nice fine grating in there. So about one large potato should do for about 3 to 4 pieces. Right, so our oil is nice and hot, it's about to go. So just to finish off that piece of potato there. Alright, and always scrap a bit of the one left over at the back of your grater, never waste that. Alright, so to that we're just going to incorporate now 1 raw egg. So this is just to allow us to be able to bind the mixture. It's just gonna go in like that. And then a bit more black pepper there. Add just another tiny bit of salt, just to make sure we get our flavors well in there. And last but not least, some red curry paste. So I'm just gonna go with about 1.5 teaspoons. Right, and all we are going to do to that mixture is mix that together. Right, always also give your bowl a nice rotation while you're mixing. I like to do it in 90 degrees. It's just to make sure all your ingredients are incorporated evenly and a little faster. Right, so I've got a nice wet mixture there. It actually slides right through the bowl. So just to give that a bit of texture, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of flour. And then I'm just going to go in with my chickpeas. Alright, nicely mixed there. Mixture is a little wet still, so we're going to add about another tablespoon of flour. Right, so that's done. We're just going to allow that to marinate for a little bit while we get our beautiful sauce that's going to accompany this going. So nice beautiful tzatziki sauce that we've chosen to accompany our fritters for today. And I'm just going to show you how to work that out. Right, so in a nice beautiful bowl here, So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add my yogurt, and I'll just grab a spoon here. So basically tzatziki is a beautiful, very light kind of sauce that you can be able to serve with your fritters. It's a beautiful palate cleanser as well. And the beauty of it, it's not very overpowering. It allows you to actually taste everything that goes with it. Right, so to the bowl with some yogurt, plain yogurt is recommended. I'm going to add my cucumber. Right, so this is just a regular chopped cucumber without the seeds. So definitely just take the sides out, get rid of those first, and then chop them up nicely. The seeds you can always discard. Right, to that we're going to add just a bit of parsley again. So this enhances the taste, enhances the appearance. Right, that goes in there. Last but not least, a bit of black pepper, tiny bit of salt. And all we're going to do is give that a nice mix. Right, so this is done. We're just going to set that aside, save that for later. Right, so to this end, our oil is nice and hot now. You can just be able to see the bubbles coming up. Something I like to use when I'm making fritters or anything that's meatball related, I like to work with an ice cream scoop. Remember, the beauty of this is it's a little quicker, it's a little less of a mess, and it allows you to get through the process a little faster. So I'm just going to show you how that works. Well, I always have a bowl separately with a bit of cold water. This is just to allow me to rinse it and get some fresh scoops out of it. Right, so we're just going to check on our beautiful chickpea mixture here. And as I can see, still a little runny. I'm going to add just a bit more flour just to see if we can get a bit of a thicker texture there. Remember, you don't want to add too much, you don't want to add too little, so it should just be enough to hold on the sides of the bowl when you tilt your bowl sideways. If you're working with a plastic bowl, it might be a little more difficult to do that, but if you're working with a ceramic bowl like myself or a glass bowl, it's a little easier to tell. Right, so this is about mixed, so we're all just going to do is just rinse our ice cream scoop like that. Just shake off the excess, and all I'm going to do is get some beautiful balls out of our chickpea mixture in there. So remember, it's a little runny. It's not a very thick consistency. It's a little wet. It's just to allow it to cook a little faster. And all we're going to do to that is just drop those into the hot oil like that. And we're just going to repeat the process. So fritters is a beautiful thing to be able to serve maybe hours before dinner or just before your dinner as a starter or an appetizer. A lot of ingredients can go into it. As I said, you could always have leftovers that you don't have a reason to use, or you're just looking for something to buy you some time before serving dinner. This is always a beautiful option to go. So as you can see, they hold their shape really well in the oil. They don't actually fall apart. So in that we managed to be able to attain with the help of some egg and some flour. Right, just gonna drop the third one there, and we're just going to reserve this mixture on the side here. Right, so we're just going to allow that to cook for about 5 minutes on one side, and then we're just gonna give them a turnaround. We're going to check for the coloring of them. We're going to make sure they're nicely puffing up as they cook. So I'm just going to use my tongs here just to check on The first one we dropped in. So as you can see, it just starts to brown as soon as it goes into the oil. Beautiful colors. It's going to turn all those around and give them some time, a bit more time to cook. And then I also always recommend for you to have a bit of some napkins or some parchment paper, which you can be able to drain off all the excess oil once it's come out of the oil. So just gonna give that a nice quick wipe. And we're just going to prepare our bowl ready to get this beautiful fritters out of the oil and straight onto our plate. Right, so we're just going to give those a few more minutes to cook through. We are going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how to finish off the tzatziki sauce, how to plate the beautiful dish, and give you a few other recommendations that go really well with this particular recipe. Don't touch that dial. We'll see you in a short while. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We took a short break and we were doing some fritters before we did, but now I'm going to show you what happens right after the cooking. So these have been frying for 5 minutes on each side. We took them off the heat, we let them drain out the excess oil, and now we're just about ready to plate. So I'm just going to grab some garlic here that was actually sitting in our oil, which we're just going to use for some garnish. Alright, beautiful flavors develop actually when you roast garlic when it's whole, so it actually just brings a different kind of a bite to the whole dish in general. So I'm just going to go with about 3 pieces just for serving. Alright. So simple as that, very, very simple dish, as I mentioned earlier, something now you can be able to make for yourselves at home. Right, I'm just gonna use some of that fried garlic on the top there, beautiful crispy finish. And then just a bit of lemon wedge on the sides as well, always gives an appetizer refreshing finish. Just gonna add those there. And last but not least, a bit of parsley and a bit of rosemary to finish that off. So ladies and gentlemen, beautiful, easy to make potato, chickpea and chicken fritters that you can now be able to do yourselves at home. You have been tuned into Dinner Guide. Your host has been Chef Andy. It's been a pleasure being with everyone today. So from the studios and from myself, have a lovely evening.